Welcome to Experts United Sustainable Industries. We are proud to bring inspirational leaders, innovators, and experts worldwide to spread the word and harness the growing force for sustainable development. For many years, committed organizations and businesses have worked on protecting the environment and our health. They continue working, respecting our natural resources, making sure that we have Earth suitable to live on, and envisioning a thriving future for all. Our TV show, Experts United Sustainable Industries, is here to expand that awareness. I hope you value the work of the speakers and learn from their experiences. I am delighted to welcome Sunil Murlidhar Shastri. He is a consultant, expert, and speaker in ocean and environmental governance. Sunil has been a university academic, consultant, and researcher in the ocean environmental policy, mining, and ocean engineering. He has made it his mission and dedicated his professional life to challenge orthodoxy, increase cooperation in ocean governance, and raise awareness about the importance of preserving our blue planet. Although he lives in the United Kingdom, today he is joining us from India. Sunil, I appreciate giving us your time today, and thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Hi, I'm delighted to be contributing to your show. My name is Sunil Murlidhar Shastri, and I'm a consultant, expert, and speaker in ocean and environmental governance, and I've been working in this area since 1981. My abiding influence to get me into this area of what I call as Pacem in Maribus, peace in the sea or peace in the ocean, are Elizabeth Borghese and my two parents. Now, it is coincidental that I worked with her for 20 years, but this passion has continued ever since we met in 1981 and she died in 2002. So first of all, I want to talk about where do our rudimentary problems, where do our basic problems stem from? And they start from what I would like to distinguish as wants versus needs. Wants as in greed. Nothing is ever good for humanity or human beings until we can cut, dig, and kill. Animals do that too. We are clever, so we added burn to it. Thus, the humans have interfered inexorably with the biogeochemical ocean fluxes by cutting, digging, killing, and burning everything in sight and making it of value. As a result, we have become a lawless society. We have become landless, we have become airless, and we have become waterless. Our land is less productive, our air is not breathable, and our water is not drinkable. So what are some of the existential issues that are facing us? People say that COVID is a big issue, big existential issue for us. But I would compare that to a small berry. A bigger existential threat that is facing us is climate change. And I would compare that to an orange. An even bigger threat is disruption of nitrogen cycle. And I would compare that to a papaya. But the biggest threat we have currently is the loss of biological diversity. And I would probably compare that to a watermelon. So these four threats that I talked about, particularly the last three, they are our existential threats. And all of them are linked inextricably with the ocean. So why is the ocean significant for our own very survival? First of all, I want to say that the ocean, only 5% of the ocean has been explored and mapped. And it is inter alia. To quote Roger Revelle, he very famously said that we know more about the backside of the moon than the bottom of the sea. And that is true even today. But you have to remember that oceans absorb 25% of carbon dioxide, which is same as all the forests on land, generates 50 to 80% of oxygen. Every second breath we take is thanks to the ocean. 70% of Earth's surface is ocean, receives over 80% of land-based pollution. All the pollution ends up in the sea, absorbs 90% of excess heat from emissions, carries 95%, mind you, of world trade. contains 97% of Earth's water and offers 99% of the biosphere or the living space that is there on the Earth. Also, you have to think about this conversation that we are having, this show we are doing virtually is possible not because of the cloud in the sky, so-called cloud in the sky, but the cloud is actually under the sea. 99% of communication cables are laid under the ocean. So where in nature can we find simple solutions? Just as I always say that we need trillion new trees. Trillion new trees is TNT. That's my acronym, not for trinitrotoluene, but it's an acronym for trillion new trees. And just like the explosion of trinitrotoluene, we want to have an explosion of trees on land. And that's number one solution. But in the ocean, we have got mangroves. We have got mangroves in the intertidal zone. We have got seagrass as we go a little bit deeper, and corals if we go a little bit deeper. So in the coastal zone, we have got these three, which are our triple insurance against an imminent climate catastrophe. Now, how must our past and current narratives change? The first narrative, the past narrative that we had was that the ocean was too big to fail. So we said to ourselves, we told people that nothing we can do can damage the ocean, can do anything wrong to the ocean. The ocean's too big to fail. But then we realized that we have managed to fail the ocean. We have managed to destroy the ocean. So the next narrative came, and people now say that, oh, the ocean is too big to fix. What can I do now? The damage is done and there's not a lot I can do about it. But that's not true either. What the correct narrative and the future narrative and the present narrative and the future narrative has got to be the ocean is too big to ignore. And that's the most important thing that we must think about. Now, let me sum up these ideas and say what I think about things. And I say that you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you find you get what you need. And that's what Mick Jagger said, famous Rolling Stone. But Mahatma Gandhi said the same thing. And he said, there is enough in the world for the need of the people, but not enough in the world for the greed of the people. And then, of course, if you see my website, oceangovernance.org, you'll see that our whole thinking must change. That's my motto. That's my tagline or strapline. And the change must come from within. So our whole thinking has to change, and the change has to come from within. And each one of us has to be that agent of change. And of course, the most important thing is that we must do the right thing because it is the right thing to do. So thank you very much, Sandra, for having me on your show. And I'm delighted to contribute to your work. And I'll be more than happy to have more conversations and have more talks in your show and help improve the life for us and for the future generations. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Sustainability is at the core of what we do. So I am very pleased to welcome Mary Jane Schramm to our show. Mary Jane has been active in marine conservation in the San Francisco Bay Area and internationally for nearly 40 years. Formerly a spokesperson and media liaison with the Oceanic Society, the Marine Mammal Center, and NOAA's Greater Farallones National Marine Sanctuary. She is deeply involved in ocean issues, especially those concerning the North Central California current ecosystem. Currently, she works with the International Ocean Film Festival and is a screening committee judge, helping to curate film programs designed to educate, inspire, and promote love, appreciation for, and involvement in conserving our blue planet. So, Mary Jane, thank you for joining us today and welcome.
Well, thank you, Sandra. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm delighted to be speaking to everyone. So I go by MJ, so I'm MJ Schramm. And as Sandra mentioned, I've worked in marine conservation, mostly off California, for nearly 40 years with the Oceanic Society, the Marine Mammal Center, and until recently with NOAA's Greater Farallones National Marine Sanctuary off San Francisco. I've assisted with at-sea whale and seabird monitoring, fieldwork on the Farallon Islands, many marine mammal rescues from seal pups to whales, oil spill responses and other emergencies. So over time, I have witnessed many human impacts on our oceans. That's what I'll speak to today. The biggest impact, global warming, has changed our oceans dramatically with major harm to numerous species, including endangered ones. Sea temperatures are rising beyond the ability of some species to adapt, causing food web disruption and starvation and changes in species distribution. Some recent examples. The 2014 to 2016 West Coast marine heat wave caused food web failures resulting in catastrophic seabird and fur seal die-offs and causing toxic algae blooms that collapsed the Dungeness crab fishery. It was a triple whammy of ocean warming, plus an El Nino and the blob, which was a cell of warm water that hunkered down and persisted off the West Coast. Since 2017, thousands of sick and starving gray whales have died all along the West Coast because of the shrinking Arctic ice cap eliminated their primary food source. Weakened whales also fell victim to disease and to ship strike as well. Bottlenose dolphins expanded into Northern California during the 1982-83 El Nino. And while that sounds like a good thing, they have since killed numerous native harbor porpoises, just half their size. Prior to then, hundreds of miles had safely separated their two ranges. Now, here's a puzzler, white sharks. Since about 2015, juvenile white sharks have invaded the territory of adult whites in Northern California as sea temperatures have warmed. We'll have to see how that situation plays out. So I want to emphasize, these are dire situations, but there is hope. While we can't stop climate disruption, we can slow it if we take steps now to reduce our carbon fuel consumption and invest in solar energy and green fuel alternatives, become green consumers by buying locally, buying less, and recycling and reusing more. Use the power of your vote, and even between elections, pressure your legislators and other representatives to support green government policies. We cannot fight climate disruption impacts alone, but each one of us can support wildlife conservation and other environmental action by building coalitions at home, work, or school, and within your community. Also, environmental groups and agencies like National Marine Sanctuaries offer hands-on opportunities. Go online and check out your options. In the Bay Area, Greater Farallones National Marine Sanctuary, the Marine Mammal Center, and other groups use volunteers, and many are member supported.
Yes, of course. That is so beautifully said. I mean, really, there is hope if we all become conscious citizens of the world. It is not just being, just looking at what's around us and who's around us. So we have to look at the big picture, and it is to preserve our oceans. It's just one of the major urgencies that the planet is facing right now. So thank you so much, MJ. We have someone special today who will speak about the importance of keeping ourselves connected to nature and to our role to care for what's important, our home called Earth. Joanne Castaño is a transcendent coach and the CEO of Radical Emergence. Joanne has been providing self-mastery coaching and transcendent consulting for over 9 years. Her joy for improving the lives of others is showcased through her YouTube channel and speaking engagements and transformational group programs. So let's welcome Joanne. What a pleasure it is to have you here with us. Welcome.
Thank you, Sandra. I am originally from the East Coast, but I've been living in the Bay Area for 15 years. And I've grown exponentially here and became a founder and CEO of my company, Radical Emergence, where, you know, I really put my heart and soul into that work, into coaching my clients to sustainability in their emotions, balance, and growth in their mindset.
I would love to have your professional opinion about that emotional experience that we deal on a daily basis related to the climate crisis around the world.
Yes. So what we as humans deal with when we're seeing these things that are happening that feel devastating or beyond our control or beyond what we can do anything about, we're emotionally triggered, highly triggered, and you don't have a support structure for how to understand your process and take care of yourself and self-regulate, bring balance back to your emotional well-being, stress manage, etc. The ramifications of that could be devastating into depression, hopelessness, disassociation, where you mentioned, well, that's, you know, that's over there, that's not over here in my world, in my city, until it is. Or it could be affecting so personally that they're just feeling burnt out, you know, burnt out from trying to know what to do and not feeling that they could do anything because they're trying to take care of themselves, right? So how do I support and see all of this problems that are happening in the world and be a contribution when I'm trying to figure out and take care of myself?
What is that emotional reaction that we have when we see all of these climate crisis circumstances around the world in parallel to all of the social media and the news that is completely different to what reality is all about around the world, affecting us all?
We need connection, and that connection as human beings can be in a way that will support the safety of our globe and of each other, the health, overall health of the world, of our earth, and of ourselves. So we take care of the earth, it takes care of us. And then the growth, how we can grow in better habits and better practices to support a collective, let's just say, mission to create sustainable industries, companies, you know, and as well as resources to renewable resources to support the health of the earth so that we can all live here, you know, and continue to, like, I'm a mother, I have 2 boys, and I want to leave my existence with having contributed to leaving this world a little bit of a better place for them.
Thank you, Joanne, for sharing your expertise with us, and we'll see you again. Thanks so much for being here. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker, Linda Witong Abrahm, who has been an NGO delegate to the United Nations Commissions of the Status of Women between 2013 and 2019. Linda has acted as a special advisor and research consultant to the president of Soroptimist International from 2016 to the present day. And she was elected as a member of the United Nations Alliance of NGOs on Crime Prevention and Criminal Justice in 2021. The Alliance is based at the United Nations in Vienna, Austria, and we just have to welcome with open arms Linda Witong. It is a pleasure to welcome you to our show.
I'm here to try and educate the public about why people regard climate change to be the biggest global health threat of the 21st century and could reverse 5 decades of progress in global health. That's what I'm going to be here for. We start with the recognition that climate change and environmental harm interfere with all of our human rights. That's not new. Matter of fact, it's been explored since the 90s, even before that, probably 1949, as early as that. Hundreds of millions of people are exposed to extreme weather events annually, and it results in injuries, and it results in illnesses and mental health impacts. The adverse health impacts of climate change as of now, it's slowly been evolving as far as the science goes, is premature deaths, obviously, increased incidences of respiratory disease, cardiovascular disease, malnutrition, stunting, wasting, allergies, waterborne and vector-borne diseases, and mental illness. In 2019, dengue fever was the most rapidly spreading vector-borne disease, 30-fold increase because of the change of the weather, because it was getting warmer. The air pollution is one of 5 leading risk factors for non-communicable diseases globally. The fine particulate air pollution is the single largest environmental risk to health worldwide. More than 90% of our population breathes air, according to the World Health Organization, that exceeds the healthy ambient air quality. In other words, we're not breathing good air, folks. And to make matters worse, a recent study in Scripps and Stanford said wildfire smoke is 10 times more toxic than the normal air that we're breathing, which, keep in mind, it's not meeting, and 90% of it's not meeting World Health Organization standards. The other thing, quickly, and it has to do with children, is soil and water pollution. 1 in 3 of children, up to 815 million globally, have blood lead levels that are above what is required to be normal. So they're walking around with lead levels that are above normal. And lead is a potent neurotoxin, which means that even low-level exposure is associated with reduction in IQ scores, shortened attention spans, potentially violent and even criminal behavior. And the children, God bless them, they usually get it through, like, maybe the paint, they're eating little paint chips, or the soil or the water or the air. Maybe they're playing with in battery recycling operations with batteries, open air smelters. Those are what are prevalent in low and middle income countries. Also, they can have food that's contaminated by lead, lead glazed pottery, perhaps lead in spices, which that was kind of new to me, drinking water from leaded pipes, playing in what I already mentioned, electronic waste dumps, and in cosmetics, pollution from pesticides. Pesticides, that's sad, a lot of farmers who have had a horrible economic shock will commit suicide by pesticides, but children and others can also get incidental poisoning from pesticides. That can be found in the soil or water. It can affect a child's skin, eyes, nervous system, cardiovascular system, their gastrointestinal tract, their kidney, their liver, their reproductive system, endocrine system, blood and immune system, and has been linked to cancer with childhood leukemia.
Thank you so much, because, you know, people like you making a difference out there, representing women, representing communities, and a movement, right, to empower the world. It's just something that is very inspiring. So thank you for being here today, Linda.
Thank you for having me.
I became a climate reality leader to expand the environmental message to you all through the media. We all recognize climate change and we drive attempts to solve it. The thing that is becoming clear is that the collective efforts of moving ethical practice forward are taking effect. And iGreen Media Group is deeply honored to contribute to these environmental developments. Together, we are making a collective impact on the global effort, sharing the same goals and producing transformative actions for the greatest challenges of all times, climate change and pollution. The climate crisis is around the world without escape. And the urgent work is to find balance in our lives sustainably. In that way, we will slow down the harm we have caused to Mother Earth. The Experts United Sustainable Industries will broadcast on television and online platforms, including social media. It will support the educational intention of informing individuals, consumers, business owners, and for them to take action to become citizens and stewards of the planet. Only by working in collaboration, we will resolve the pressing issues of pollution and toxicity in our surroundings. It is imperative that we switch to a new line of products where natural, organic, and non-GMOs are our new choices. A circular green economy. A circular green economy, that is what will benefit us, the earth, and the generations to come. From all of us at Experts United Sustainable Industries and iGreen Media Group, thank you. And thank you to our speakers and sponsors for making our work possible. Until we meet again, I am Sandra Lee.